Hello students, let us see an example to illustrate these file programming concepts. So now how do I integrate all these stuffs which we have stated till now? Basically, I wish to write something called as a file copy program. Now in this program, what I wish to do is I have a file by name in.txt. I wish to write a program such that the contents of in.txt are copied onto a file called as out.txt. Now this file contains some information. This information needs to be transferred to a file called as out.txt. Now this transfer process is supposed to be done by a C program which you are going to write, and this program is called as a file copy program. Now what will be the layout of this particular program? The first thing which I should remember is I have to create two pointers, one to hold in.txt and the other to hold out.txt. Assume that I have a pointer called as IP to point to in.txt and a pointer called as OP to point to out.txt. Now in this process, as usual, we have to remember first we have to associate file pointers. Then I am to use a fopen command to open this in.txt and to open a file called as out.txt. Now open will not be an appropriate word. What I need to do is I have to create a file called as out.txt. So basically your in.txt will be used for read operations and out.txt will be used for write operations. Now let us see a program to illustrate all these concepts. I have a program which is written for you. Let me place the program and make you understand how this program works. Now the very first thing which you should remember is I have to include some header files. The header files which I am including for these operations are two header files, str.h and stdlib.h. Basically, when I say str.h or stdlib.h, str.h is for printf and scanf, fprintf, fscanf, or fgetc and fputc. stdlib is a special header file which is used for a function called as exit function, which are placed at this place. Now let us look at this entire program step by step. What are the concepts which we have spoken? All those concepts need to be integrated into a simple program of this sort. After the header file declaration, let's start with the title called as void main, and now declare two pointers called as IP and OP. I'll declare two pointers, file asterisk IP and asterisk OP. So I stated IP is going to point to in.txt and OP is going to point to out.txt. Let's take a character variable ch because I don't know what exactly are the contents of in.txt. Now let's associate pointer IP with in.txt. So txt is this. So I'll say IP equals to fopen in.txt comma read mode. It means that I'm supposed to open the file called as in.txt under this particular read mode. We have stated what exactly read mode does. So let's recollect what we have stated in the read mode. In the read mode operations, if the file exists, it will return the address of the file. If the file in.txt doesn't exist, in that case, it will automatically return a null value. So let me check whether the file operation was successful. I'm going to use the extension called as txt. If IP equal to null, which means that the file opening operations were unsuccessful. So in that case, there is no fun in proceeding for the entire task. Let's wind up with this particular task. So check if IP equal to null, true. Then say printf unable to open a file. And then exit, which means you are supposed to terminate this particular code. Now, break will always terminate a loop, whereas exit function terminates the program. So here onwards, there will not be any file operations which are included, or any standard IO operations which will be included. So we'll say stop at this particular place. So then the remaining program will run. Now this is when IP is null. If IP is not null, that is if in.txt is opened successfully, then go for creating a new file called as out.txt. So out.txt. So I'll say fopen out.txt comma w. Now as it is said, w mode will create a new file by name out.txt and returns the address of the file if it is opened successfully. You are supposed to apply the same concepts which you stated for the previous IP. So if out.txt is created, then it will return the address. If not, it will return null value. So if op equal to null, if op equal to null, it means that I'm unable to create a file called as out.txt. So if I'm unable to create a file called as out.txt, so in that case you should say unable to create a file. Now since already one file has been created, that is IP, you are supposed to close that particular file which has been created, and then you are supposed to wind up the code. Hence it says unable to create a file, close the file which has been already opened, that is f close IP, and then exit this particular code. So exit this particular entire code by using exit function and terminate this particular operation. Now the two operations seems to be identical, because the first will open a input file and then second operation will create a file. Once the file has been created, then I'm supposed to use a loop to transfer all the contents from in.txt to out.txt. Now since in.txt is held by, let me put a diagram at this place. So it says this is a file called as in.txt and this is a file called as out.txt. Now here we have the contents, and at the end of a file there is always a command called as EOF, which says end of file. The last character of any file is always end of a file command. So what I'll do is I'll transfer all the contents of in.txt to out.txt. So I'll use an infinite loop at this place. If you remember, while one says while the loop is true, so it means that this is going to be infinite loop. Get a character from a file which is held by IP. So IP is held at in.txt. So take a character from this and store into ch. Check whether that character is end of file. If ch equal to end of file. If ch is equal to end of file, then you'll break this particular loop, terminate this particular loop, and then close or transfer the content of ch to op. Transfer the content of op to ch. So keep on doing this particular operation. Take a character from IP, transfer it to op. Take a character from IP, transfer it to op. Keep on doing this particular operation. If ch equal to end of file, then terminate this particular operation. At the end, you are supposed to close both the files IP and AP. At one point of time, your ch will be end of file. If ch is end of file, it will even copy this particular end of file and then automatically terminate this particular operation. So then close both the files IP and OP and then end this particular task. Thank you.